Hello, everyone. 6:30 now, so we're just going to give a couple more minutes for some more people just to log in for the webinar. Okay. Cool. Hello, everyone. A few minutes past 6:30 now, so we'll get started. Just let everybody know that this presentation is being recorded. There will be some time at the end for questions. Just ask to make sure that everyone turns their mic off. And then if we have questions, the questions can be asked through the, just type it in the chat. We'll be able to go through there and answer any questions that we have at the end of the presentation. So my name is TJ Fedyk. I'm the manager of housing services with residents here at the University of Calgary. So I oversee all the admissions marketing, communication, applications, and placements of all the students that we have in residence. We do have approximately 3,000 residence beds in single student housing. And yes, on all of our residents, we have single student housing, and we do have family housing units as well. But tonight we're going to be talking mostly about our first year residences, about the buildings themselves, how to apply for them, and meal plans and all things like that. So we'll get started. So we're going to be talking about fall 2022 for first year students. So this would be any student who's under the age of 21 attending their first year post-secondary institution. For residents, they will be classified as a first year student. So first year accommodations for 2022. Currently, we are planned to use Kanaskas and Rundle halls. These are traditional single rooms and double rooms. This is like what you see in the movies. You have one room with 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 dressers, 2 armoires. We have anywhere we can range from 3, I'm trying to think now, sorry. anywhere from 10 to 20 of these units per wing. So how Canada Arundel is set up, there's 3 wings in each tower. There's a male wing, a female wing, and a gender neutral wing. And both those and all 3 wings have their own bathrooms. So in the bathrooms, there's 3 sinks, 3 toilets, and 3 showers. And then there's anywhere from 10 to 20 students sharing those bathrooms on that wing. And as well as on each floor, there's also a community lounge where we have TV available. Then there's also a little study lounge area in the same area where there's tables and chairs and whiteboards to be able to do some homework. There's also kitchenettes on the floor. That's where the laundry rooms are, microwave. And if you do bring anything to cook with, like coffee pots or toasters, we do ask them to be used in the kitchenette areas. The other building that we'll be using as well this year is International House. So this used to be the old hotel on campus called Hotel Alma. So International House, there's 3 different types of accommodations in here. So we have 3 floors of 2-bedroom suites. So each student would get their own room, bedroom, and then they would share a common kitchenette area and bathroom with their roommate. In the kitchenette area, there's a microwave, little breakfast nook, and a fridge. On 2 of the floors 5 and 6, are single suites. So these are old hotel suites. Very nice units. They're individual. So you get a bed and then a little kitchenette. You get a little fridge in there as well, and then your own private bathroom in there as well. And on the top floor of International House is our Scholars Advantage community. So this is part of our living learning communities, which I'll talk about shortly here. So academic communities. So these are communities that if you want, you can request to live in here. So they allow students the opportunity to meet and build connections with other high achieving students in their faculty or scholars program. So we have 4 different academic communities. We have the arts community, we have business and entrepreneurship community, we have STEM, and then we have Scholars Advantage community. So the arts, business, and STEM communities are aimed more towards students that are in these faculties on campus. You don't actually have to be in the faculty to live in one of these floors. If you are interested in the arts, but you are in business, you're more than welcome to live in the arts or the business community. It's up to you where you want to live, but most of the focusing of these communities will be based off of the faculties themselves. And then there's the Scholars Advantage community. So the Scholars Advantage community is for those students that are high achieving coming into the university. These are students who have received the Prestige Award to the university. They will get first opportunity to live in Scholars Advantage. And then if any rooms are still left over after the Scholars Advantage have been offered out, then we will allow those other rooms to go to other students who wish to live in that community. On your application, students would apply for these communities. They select which one they want, and then they have to fill out a questionnaire of up to 250 words of why they want to live in this community, what benefits will bring to them, and just, the reason why they want to live in there. Our staff will then go through all of the submissions and then select which students will be living in these communities. How the room offers work for the upcoming school year. All the room offers are sent out based off of a lottery system. So in the application, which is open now, you can apply, and then there's a section on there for room preference. You can have up to 3 room preferences on your application. If you select as a single room in traditional residence as your first option, you'll be put into the lottery for the single rooms. And then we'll be offering those rooms based off of the lottery. So the first 100 people that get drawn for a single room will be offered a single room in the traditional style residence. And then the other students from 101 or higher will be put on a wait list. We'll be doing the same things for all the rooms as well that we placed into the double rooms or into the International House, into the 2-bedroom or the single suites as well. So as long as you apply before May 1st at midnight, you are guaranteed residence for your first 2 years. So what we will do is when you receive your offer in May, so you receive it by May 6th, we will inform you what type of accommodation you have received. If you'll have a single room, a double room, international house, 2-bedroom suite, or an international house single suite. So we'll inform you of that at that time. And then throughout the summer, because things change a lot through the summer, students apply for residence before they know it gets into the university or after. Students still get offers from university all throughout the summer. So we will not be doing any final placements until August 10th, just because there's so much movement for first year students. But whatever offer we send you, you will be guaranteed that when it comes out to the final room placements that are sent on August 10th. So what the final room placements are, that will actually tell you who your roommate is and what room number that you are living in and what building. So if you have a traditional style residence offer, you'll either be placed in Kananaskis Hall or Rundle Hall. The two buildings are exactly the same. There's no difference between them. So that's why we only tell you if you have a single room or a double room in traditional style residence. Residence fees that we see right here. So all these residence fees that you see and on our website are for the current year, 2021, 2022. The new residence fees will not be posted on our website until January because they are off to the Board of Governors who will vote on the fees for the next school year. There they also vote on the tuition, parking, all that comes up, I believe, on December 10th. So shortly after that, board meeting, we'll be able to announce what all the new rates are for the upcoming school year. But as you can currently see, all first year students are required to purchase a meal plan. So we have about 4 different options, kind of a pricing range for students, from a double room, which is our cheapest, to a single room in traditional style residence. And then you have your 2-bedroom suite and then your single suite. So the first number you see there is the room rate. And the second rates that you see there is what the full fees would be, including the meal plan. Residence fees are due the same day's tuition in 2022-2023, which is September 23rd and January 27th. So residence fees, the fees you see right here, will be split into 2. Half will be due in the fall term on the 23rd, and the other half will be due on January 27th for the winter term. When you receive your offer of residence, to accept it, you will be required to pay a $1,000 advance payment to hold your spot. That advance payment is only refundable if you're not admitted to the University of Calgary. Once it's been paid. So that $1,000 advance payment will go towards your fall fees. So your fall fees will be $1,000 less than what your winter fees will be. There's different options as well, ways to pay your fees. Your advance payment can only be paid by credit card through our website. But once you get here and you move into residence, you're able to pay your residence fees through online banking, and international students can pay through Western Union Global. There's also a new credit card option fee that is available as well. Roommates. So because you're going to be living pretty close to some new people, you might want to know who they are and get to know them ahead of time. So there's 3 ways how you can get roommates for moving into residence. The first way is if you know someone specific, you can mutually request each other through the resident portal. So what you have to do is you have to apply first. Both of you would need to apply. Once you've applied, then you can go back into your application and find each other by using a special screen name that you have selected. So if you know each other's screen names, you can search each other that way, and then select each other as roommates. You'll have until June 30th to request a roommate. Starting July 1st, we turn off the roommate function. And then, because that's when we start trying to place students into rooms with each other to get ready for the August 10th announcement of where you'll be living. If you don't know anyone specific to live with, you can use our little roommate matching system. It's kind of like a little dating service. You can go on there and you can find out your top 10 matches. Because on your application, I think there's about 10 to 15 questions asking everything from your sleeping habits, study habits, social habits, how clean you are, how early you go to bed, how early you wake up, kind of things like that. So this profile thing will help find your top matches. They'll come up and you'll be able to then look at other people, your top 10. You'll be able to look at their profiles, see if you kind of like what their profile looks like. And then you can also email each other through our system, through your resident portal, and talk to each other back and forth through there. And then at the end, then if you decide you want to become roommates, you can then request each other and we'll place you together. Again, with this system, you'll have until June 30th to find the roommate and then place them in there. If you don't know of anyone or you don't search for anyone for a roommate for the new school year, our system will just automatically place you with someone. There's really only a couple things we look at when placing students together. One of the main ones is smoking. You can't smoke in any of our buildings, but we do know it stays on clothing. So we do make sure that we try and put people together that smoke together and then non-smokers together, just because we know it kind of stays on your clothing and stuff like that. So for this reason, this is why we highly recommend that either you know someone to live with or you go and you search for your own roommate. But if you don't, we will place you with someone if you are in a double room or in a 2-bedroom suite. So offers of residence. So first year offers will be sent out to students. As long as you apply before May 1st, 2022 at midnight, all first year students are guaranteed their first 2 years of residence. So their first year in first year style residence and then their second year in our second year residence. But for the second year, you have to apply for your second year residence by February 10th of the following year to be able to get your guaranteed spot into residence. We'll then send out your offers on May 6th. You'll have until May 31st to accept your offer. So to accept the offer, you then have to go to your log back into your resident portal. You're going to have to pay a $1,000 advance payment, and that will go towards your fees when you do it. For anyone that applies after May 1st, offers will be given out based off of availability, what we have left, and then based off of first come, first serve. Although the last few years, we have been able to get everybody into residence who's applied later. We do the best we can. We've adjusted some rooms and buildings to get everybody in that wants to for the first year, just because we know how important it is to live in residence. On average, students who live in residence end up with higher GPAs than those who don't. Just the fact is, you're on campus, you have the connections, people you'll be living with will be in the same course. A lot of the first year students all take the same courses in the same programs. We have free tutoring in residence. We have writing workshops and things like that throughout the year. We do bring in professors and such to talk about and specialists that teach you on how to write proper midterms and proper final exams. Also, those who live in residence actually end up completing their degree in their 4 years rather than taking the extra time for those that live in residence. Also because the same thing is that they do have all the resources right there in front of them, and there's no excuse to ever miss a class because you're only 5-minute walk to your class. All first year students are also required to purchase a meal plan. So in residence, we have a place called The Landing. In The Landing, there are 2 meal options. So there's a 7-day all you care to eat plan, and there's a 5-day all you care to eat plan. So The Landing is kind of like a buffet. You go up there, you swipe your card to go in, you can stay up there as long as you want, grab whatever food you want. There's a fry station, there's a stir fry station, there's vegetarian, there's halal, there's a pasta station, home cooked meals area every day. There's salads, there's fresh sandwiches, there's dessert bar, there's lots of good food up there. So what a 7-day plan is, it gives you the option to go in and eat 7 days a week. If you only pick a 5-day plan, that means you can only eat in there Monday through Friday. So this kind of plan is for those students who might live in Calgary, the area, who plan to go home on weekends or go elsewhere on weekends for that reason. And then because it is an all you care to eat plan and sort of like a buffet style, means that all meals have to be eaten in the landing. You can't take anything out. The only thing you can take out is a cookie and 1 piece of fruit. I guess the other thing is too, if you have a water or coffee mug or something like that, you can also take out coffee or water from there as well. One question that comes up quite a bit is about roommates, especially for those that are living in traditional style residence, a single double room there. A lot of questions come up is what happens if I'm having problems with my roommates during the year? Since we brought in our new application system where you can actually go in and select your own roommates and find your own roommates, we have our roommate request form where we have issues has dropped drastically because you're able to find someone who you think you can work with and mold with and live with much easier. So you don't really have that many issues with this. But if you do, the first steps you need to do is meet with a community ambassador. This is the student who oversees your floor, and if you have problems or situations like that. So you meet with them and they would sit down and work with you and your roommate to come up with a roommate agreement on how you guys can work together and try and fix the problem or situation that's at hand. If they find out that the problem can't be fixed, you guys have worked on it for a week or so, it's just not working, you guys just don't mesh that well, they will then approve to put through a room transfer. So anyone who puts their room transfer through a roommate issue that has been approved for your CA, there's a room transfer fee of $50. Is the fact is that we have to make housekeeping has to go in, clean the unit. So there's a little bit more work with that. If you don't want to go through those steps and you just want to move without going through the CA, you can submit a room transfer request form. For that, it is $100 to go through one of those forms. We don't guarantee any room transfers. The only ones we do guarantee we work our hardest with is those that have roommate conflicts and issues. And those ones who just put in a room transfer request form just because they want to live in a different place or something like that. We will work on them, but they're not a top priority because those with roommate issues are the top priority. We work on those ones the fastest and the hardest to make sure that the students feel comfortable living in residence. The great thing about living in residence and living on campus is the residence life. So that you get the social connection. We have lots of different programs that we do throughout the year. We do academic programs, we do fun socializing activities. The few things that have happened this past fall, we have fitness classes. So we do have an organization in residence called RAW, so the Residence Athletic Association. They do yoga, they set up volleyball, they take people to spin classes. There's lots of fun things with that. Study with me sessions, so you're able to meet with other people who might be in the same classes as you to go, so you can go and study together and work together. We do trivia nights, community Netflix parties. This past weekend, we had 2 amazing races. We had an amazing race for one of our buildings downtown Calgary, where they went around and had to complete a bunch of tasks. Then we also had one on campus as well for those who wanted to do an amazing race on campus with the events and tasks that they had to complete as well. So there's really good connections. The best thing to do, it's always highly recommended across all institutions in North America and the North world, is if you're going to live in residence, you should always live in residence your first year, because university is a big change from high school. And a lot of the programs and everything that residence does is to teach students how to live on their own, how to be independent, and kind of give them that stepping stone for the next step in their life. So then they can move out on their own, things like that, because also university is much different. So we do offer those programs that will help you teach how to properly study for university, how to write proper midterms or exams, because things are much different than the high school. So that's one great thing that residence offers all of our students. And we also have a student leader support system. So we have community ambassadors, they're called CAs. So these are people that live in residence. They are student staff. They come in the beginning of every school year and they do training for 2 weeks on how to deal with everything from like event planning to roommate conflicts to suicide ideation to studying. So there's always someone that's on call. So we always have CAs on call every night. For every building, there's always 2 on call. In case there are any problems or emergencies, you can give your CA a call between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. when our office is closed. Or if you just need any help or support, you feel like that you need someone to talk to, something's come up, you just need someone to talk to, they're a great resource. They've also been in school for a couple of years. So as a first year student, you just feel like you need someone to talk to, you just having a hard time with things. They're there to help and support with that. Yeah, so one of the other great things is being on campus, we do have 24-hour security on campus and in residence. All of our buildings are locked to be able to get in. You need your keys to get in for safety. We have an office on campus in residence. So if you ever do anything, you can stop by our office during regular business hours, and any time after that, you can always call your community advisor as well. So for right now, that is all I have for this part of it, my presentation. So those are most of the general questions that we have that come up from students and kind of the information open for all residents. So you can apply now for the academic school year 2022-2023. As long as you apply before May 1st at midnight, you are guaranteed a spot in residence for the upcoming school year. Also, the one thing about first year students, when you're applying through your resident portal, if you've just applied to the University of Calgary, you will have to wait at least a week before you apply to residence. The reason for that is you need to receive your IT login information before you can apply for residence. So once you apply to the university, it'll take a couple of days and you'll get your UCID number and you'll get your UCalgary email address and login information for your student portal and for your IT stuff. So that username and login information will be the same information you use to log into your resident portal. So you go to our website, ucalgary.ca/residence. You'll see apply now. You'll click on that link and it'll say sign in with a single student sign on. You click on that, you put all the information in there, and what they'll do, they'll open up an application for you and all your information will already be in there for us. So it's a little less work for you to do. Once you go in there, you go to the application, you'll find first year student, and then you're going to click academic 2022-2023 and complete the application there. To have a fully complete application, you do need to pay a $50 application fee, which is non-refundable. Once that has been done, then your application is fully complete and you'll be able to receive an offer on May 6th. So what I'm going to do now, if you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat and we'll be able to answer any questions you might have there. One of the questions we have here is Yamnutka Hall an option for first years? At this time, it is not planned for first years. Yamnutka Hall is currently open for first years for this year because we have decreased the number of students that we've having living in traditional style residence. We've dropped it down to 70% occupancy in our traditional style residence from what it's normally been. Next year, our plan is to go back up to about 90% occupancy in there. And by doing that, we don't believe we will need Yamnutka Hall for first year students. But if we do come down to it, we find out that there have been a lot of applications, we will then at that time open up Yamnutka Hall. But we will then inform students and we'll end up doing a lottery draw for that to be able to place students into that building. Do we have any other questions right now? If we do, we can put them in the chat. Another question that comes up sometimes is laundry. So we do have laundry in our residence buildings. It is $2 to wash and $2 to dry. There's a washer and dryer on each floor in traditional style residence. And there's 2 floors in International House that has washers and dryers. There is an app for the phone where you would download and then add money to that. And then you use that app to pay for your laundry. What are requirements to get into International House? There are none. So previously, the reason why it's called International House, when the building was first built in 2010, the building was set up to have one domestic student and one international student in each unit. That program was well received for the first few years, and then it kind of died off just because we ended up needing it for more first year students, because originally what that time it was for upper year students, but then we needed more accommodation for first years. So we did cancel that community, and it's now back to, it's now just first years that can live there. So for that, it's just a random draw. So on your application, if you do state that you want to live in that community, International House in this 2-bedroom suite or in a single suite, you'll be put into a draw. If you win, you'll be placed into that. If you're selected to live in that building, you'll be placed in that building. If not, then you'll be placed into Kananaskis or Rundle Hall. See a question here, what fees if we want to live on campus over the summer? So for the residence fees, again, we're not too sure at this time what the residence fees will be for the spring summer term. The Board of Governors will be voting on that here shortly on December 10th. The rates will be posted then in January. The buildings we use different buildings in spring, summer. So we only use Aurora, Glacier, Olympus, and Cascade. In that one, there's a 4-bedroom suite, which would be the cheapest, which I believe is about $820 a month. I believe that one is. And then our most expensive, and then we have 4 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, singles, and 1 bedrooms. So anywhere from the $820 up to about $1,100 is what the rates range from. Best thing to do if you think you'll be living here for this spring or summer term, apply soon. Offers for that start going out the first week of February, but then we do offers every 2 weeks all the way up until spring session starts and until the summer session starts as well. Also, residence fees cover all utilities and wireless internet as well. Question here is, can resident offers be made before May 6th? Because international students need to have accommodation, apply for visas. Unfortunately, we cannot do offers before May 6th because we need to wait for the May 1st deadline, as that is a deadline across all institutions for first year applications. But if you need, we haven't had any problems or issues before with students needing their accommodations before then to get their visas. That hasn't been an issue before. But if you do feel like it's going to be an issue, you can contact our office and we can just write a letter for you that says that you will receive an offer. So the 5-day meal plan is only Monday through Friday. It's not based on the number of times a week or anything like that. It's only a Monday through Friday plan. Saturday, Sunday, you'd either have to purchase your own meals. You'd have to purchase your own meals on campus for that. One other interesting cool fact about the meal plans is, on average, they say each student swipes into the landing 6 times a day. So that's very interesting that you're going in for your main 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then most students go in for another 3 times throughout the day to pick up snacks or drinks or things like that. Application fee for residents is $50. So that $50 is non-refundable, and that needs to be paid by credit card to complete your application. So the Scholars Advantage one, the question is, when applying for Scholars Advantage, is everyone required to write the 250-word essay? Or is that only for those who did not receive a prestige scholarship? That would be correct. So those students who received a prestige scholarship, as long as they apply for residence before May 1st, they will be given the first opportunity to live in residence. They will not need to apply for that community. They will not need to write that 250-word essay. That essay is only for those who want to live in the opportunity to live in Scholars Advantage if there is space still available after we send out the first set of offers for those that have won prestige scholarships. The meal plan is buffet style. We don't like to call it that. We call it all you care to eat, but it is a buffet style. You can go in and pick out any, as long as you're in the landing, you can go up as many times to get whatever type of food that you want. Once you leave, then you'll have to scan to come back in. Were residences closed at any time during the pandemic? Residence here at the University of Calgary was open the entire time during the pandemic. We just shrunk some of our buildings. We did make students move from some of our buildings that had just a few people in them to put them all together, closer to each other. Last year, out of 3,000 students, we only had about 850 live with us last year. And we only used, I think, 4 of our buildings last year during the pandemic. But this year we're back open, fully open, and is actually probably our second busiest fullest year we've ever had here at the University of Calgary in residence. This upcoming winter, we're actually expected to be the busiest. We have the most full we've ever been in the residence history of the UC. To find out what awards are for the scholars, for the Prestige Award, you'll have to visit the university that have received them. So you can go to ucalgary.ca and just Google their Prestige Award and then scholarships, and then you'll be able to find which awards are actually covered. And then for Scholarship Advantage students, they live on the 7th floor of International House. There are only 15 units up there, and they're 1-bedroom suites. So they're old hotel suites, very nice. They're kind of like they're the swanky best residence room that we have on campus. They have their own living room area, private bedroom, and then a private bathroom. Do you need to pay any additional fees to stay in residence during the summer holidays? So if you want to live in residence over the spring, summer months, you do have to pay residence fees. Residence fees are the same. So the academic school year is what's voted on by the Board of Governors. We take those fees, we divide them by 4 to get to get 4 months, because the Board of Governors votes on 8-month residence fees. So we take that divided by 4 to get a half a year, which is May through August, and that's how we get this rates for spring summer. Anyone have any other questions right now? Prestige scholarships, I don't know, because that's through the admissions office. You would have to go through and you'd have to Google that through the UCalgary website. I believe the all prestige scholarship deadline is coming up very soon, like December 1st. If it hasn't already passed, it's coming up very quickly. If it hasn't already passed. These are the awards where students receive scholarships of a couple $1,000s or more, like I think 10,000 or more, to be able to come and attend the university. But yeah, just go to the UCalgary website. You can look up the awards site and look for prestige scholarships, prestige awards to get more information on that. Perfect. December 1st is the deadline for prestige scholarships. Carly just put it in there. You can click on the link to get more information about that. So if you do think you are, look at that. If you do think you could be a prestige award winner, scholarship, and get that in as soon as possible. Thanks, Carly. Also, it looks like there's also a webinar for awards this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. So if you do have more questions about awards, make sure to check out that webinar this Wednesday. To be able to apply for residence, you will have to wait till you get your UCalgary email address before you do apply for residence. Just because once you get that UCalgary email address, you'll also get your IT login and your student center login. So that'll be your username and your password. So once you have that, you can then apply for residence. And that means that you're officially set up in the system. And then we have received all your information for residence. If you want to learn more about the Prestige scholarships or any of those, please make sure to attend the webinar on Wednesday at 6:30. I work for residents, and I'm not too sure about how that works, but they were more than able to answer all those questions for you on Wednesday at 6:30. Or you can also just look up that website that Carly just put in into the chat here just a couple of chats ago. Likelihood of getting into International House. So International House houses 223 students, and we house about 1,000 first years. So it's about a 20% chance of getting into International House. So the best thing to do if you want to live there, put it on as your #1 preference. You'll be put into the lottery, and then we'll be holding a wait list based off of the lottery. So the first 223 students that are drawn on that lottery will be placed into there, and they'll be holding a wait list based off of the rest. So if you're 224, you're #1 on the wait list. And as students cancel their residences because they got into other institutions or they didn't get into the University of Calgary, then we will start working our way through the wait list and offering those spaces out. Are you notified the number you're on the wait list? We'll inform at the beginning. So once the wait list is started, we'll send that out so you kind of have an idea. But that will be the only time that we will inform of a wait list number, just because it's a lot of work to be going through with everyone every time that it changes. So yeah, just at the very beginning, if there is a wait list, we will then do it that first time. And then moving forward, we will not be continuing to inform residents of their wait list numbers. Some of the other things to think about for residents move-in day is the Sunday before the September long weekend. It is a big fun day that we have, and lots of information will be sent out about move-in come August. So any international students, if you can, please make sure that you do know when move-in day is, because we don't let any early move-ins. Due to the fact is we still have students living in residence for the summer residence. It's a very short turnaround. So residents move-in for 2022 will be Sunday, August 28th. Is the main move-in day. So make sure that any international students or anyone that you're arriving on the 28th or after. For first-year residents, are instruments allowed in rooms? Depends what kind of instrument there are. We do have a music room in one of our first-year buildings, Kananaskis Hall. All first-year students or residents are able to use that room at any time. You just have to go and sign the key up from our office. We do have a piano in that room as well. I believe we still have a drum set in there as well, but you can book that out at any time to go practice your instruments in there. Are there any medical facilities near residence? Yes, there is. So McEwen Student Center, or called MAC Hall, is a center. It's the heart of residence. It's the heart of campus. It's right in the very middle of campus, and it's where all services are. We got food. There's a dentist in there, optometrists, medical, religious services are in there. So that's probably about, from the middle of residence, probably about a 5-minute walk or less than a 5-minute walk to the medical center there, as well as a pharmacy is there also. And the bookstore. So Mac Hall is a great place, and you'll probably spend a lot of time there when you're on campus. That's one good thing about residence. We're very closely located to there, as well as Mac Hall also has one of the busiest concert halls in all of Canada for the number of concerts that come through there as well. So another good thing with living on campus, you're just a few steps away from some amazing concerts that come through Calgary. Another good thing about residence, think about, is when you're a student at the University of Calgary, you get free transit throughout Calgary through your thing called UPass. So there is some bus stops just outside of residence, as well as the main bus loop. It's probably about less than a 5-minute walk also from residence. And the C train station, so our train station in Calgary, is probably about a 10 to 15-minute walk from residence as well. It's on the far east side of campus, and residence is on the east side. So there's a C train station there that you can use for free, and it's pretty close. You have to go outside to get to the dining hall. Most of our residence buildings, so all of our residents, we have 10 residence buildings. All of them except for 2 are actually all connected by tunnels. So Yamnuthka Hall, which is a second-year residence building, and Crow's Nest Hall are the only residence buildings not connected by tunnels to main campus. But International House and Kananaskis and Rundle are all connected to the main campus tunnel system, which is also connected to the dining center where the landing is located. So when it's really cold outside, you never have to go outside. So also the tunnel system starts from the DC to our residence buildings, goes through kinesiology, where you have the gym, where you can go work out. And then from there, that takes you right into Mac Hall, where all the services are in the big, large food court. And then from there, it also then splits out to all the other buildings on campus as well. Just trying to see if any last minute questions that we have for residents. We'll give another minute here. We also have some other good programs in residence. We have some good clubs. We have an arts council. So a group that likes to do arts and activities like that for residents we have as well. I talked about the Resident Athletic Association. We have the Rainbow Council, which is for LGBTQ plus students and allies who do events and sessions for that. So you can find a lot of good clubs and ways to get involved in residence, as well as on campus in Mac Hall. The Students' Union has hundreds of clubs you can get involved with as well. And a good point about living in residence, you'll always have fast access and easy access to all those clubs that are on campus as well. So I think we've come to the end of our questions here. Nothing else is coming through. If you do have any questions at any time, please feel free to email us. So you can see our resident services here is through the Campus Service Center. So you can just email us at campusservicecenter@ucalgary.ca. Or you can also call our front office at any time at 403-220-8300. Another question about Scholarship Advantage Community. The Scholarship Advantage Community are single suites. They're 1-bedroom single suites, so you live in those by yourself. But yeah, again, if you have any questions, please email our office or give us a call, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions you have. If you are on campus anytime, we do have tours. You can visit our website, ucalgary.ca/residents, and go on there to live here, you'll see that there is a form to fill out for tours. So if you want a specific residence tour, you can fill out there. Or also you can go and join the campus tours and do a tour of all of campus. And they do come swing by our residents as well on their tour. So lots of options to come and see us to see what the rooms look like for the upcoming school year, where you'll call home. And I want to thank you all for coming to this session tonight. And I believe, yeah, as you saw, the next session coming up is Wednesday at 6:30, which is about awards and scholarships. And right there in the chat, you can see Carly just put it in how you can register for the awards webinar. And then I also just put in here is a link to the residence website. So if you do want to check anything on our website, we do have 360 videos on there. We have floor plans set up. So there's lots of ways you can get to see what the residence looks like here at the University of Calgary. So again, I want to thank everybody. And that will be the end of today's session. Hope we see you all next September.